The Atlas Accord, a political sci-fi thriller. Chapter 1. The Briefing. The Oval Office was quiet that night save for the hum of the grandfather clock. President Trump tapped his pen against a thick folder of economic reports when the door opened. Director Hargrove of the Secret Service entered, flanked by two men in Air Force uniforms carrying a black briefcase embossed with 3 red letters. AP.
Atlas Protocols. This is not a drill.
Aliens? You're finally telling me the Roswell stuff is real?
Not Roswell. Atlas. A system in the Perseus arm of the Milky Way. They're coming. Not tomorrow, not next year. But the fleet will be here the term after your next one.
So if I stay in office, they show up when the world's dealing with pandemics, riots, the economy, total chaos?
Yes, sir. You would face the alien arrival at the weakest possible moment in human history.
Chapter 2. The Deal. The room filled with silence. Trump turned the idea over in his head. He could fight through COVID, through scandals, through everything. But would the nation survive and be ready for an interstellar invasion? The Pentagon's plan was radical. Install Joe Biden as a placeholder president. Let the storms of pandemic and scandal play out during his term. Return Trump when the time was right, stronger with a new mission. Prepare Earth for Atlas.
Joe gets the headaches, I get the glory. That's the deal?
Essentially, sir, the country survives the turbulence, and when the threat is imminent, you'll return.
Trump stared at the ceiling, considering the weight of destiny.
Fine, but we're starting something new, something big. Call it Space Force.
Chapter 3. The Hidden Mission. Space Force was announced to the public as a new military branch to protect satellites, communications, and American interests in orbit. The truth was far more alarming. Behind the curtain, secret projects began. Project Aegis, orbital defense platforms armed with prototype energy weapons. Project Prometheus, research into propulsion systems capable of intercepting incoming ships. Project Atlas, Accord, covert talks with private space companies to develop emergency evacuation colonies on Mars and the Moon. Only a handful of people, Trump, his inner circle, and a classified team at the Pentagon, knew the real reason Space Force existed. Chapter 4. The Step Down. When the time came, Trump made the decision. He would step aside, letting Biden take the heat. To the public, it looked like politics. To the few who knew the truth, it was strategy. The scandals, the pandemic, the chaos, they all unfolded during Biden's watch. But in hidden bunkers and Space Force command centers, Trump's original directives were quietly followed. America and the world were preparing. Chapter 5. The Return. 4 years later, as whispers of the Atlas fleet's approach grew louder in classified channels, Trump prepared for a historic comeback. He wasn't running to beat Democrats. He wasn't running for legacy. He was running to save humanity. The campaign slogan wasn't just politics anymore, it was a warning. Keep America great. Because greatness would soon be tested by forces not of this earth. Chapter 6. Biden's Burden. Joe Biden never knew the truth. To him, the presidency was simply politics, pandemic, and policy. But in the shadows, he had been installed as a sacrificial term. His advisors whispered about missteps and scandals, yet none of them understood that his entire presidency had been planned chaos. What Biden did not realize was that certain executive orders on vaccine research, supply chains, and emergency funding were quietly redirected. Buried in the language of legislation, billions flowed into infrastructure resilience, communications security, and orbital logistics. These weren't just pandemic safeguards, they were the foundations of a planetary defense system. Every time Biden signed a relief package, he unknowingly fueled Space Force's classified projects. Chapter 7. The Atlas Fleet. Deep beyond Pluto, hidden observatories picked up anomalies, objects accelerating against the laws of known physics, energy signatures that matched no star or comet. The Atlas Fleet. Thousands of years ago, they had mapped Earth as a resource-rich outpost. Their signals, intercepted in the 1980s but buried under layers of classification, revealed one chilling truth. They did not come for diplomacy, they came for harvest. The Pentagon named the countdown clock the Eclipse. Red digits glowed in bunkers beneath Colorado, ticking away the years until Earth's skies would darken. Chapter 8. The Return of Trump. By the time Biden's term drew to a close, the world was tired. Pandemics, economic turmoil, global unrest, few trusted the system. Then came the rallies. Trump returned, fiery as ever, but this time the words carried an edge that few could place.
We need to protect this country like never before. The threats we face are bigger than anything in history. Space Force is just the beginning.
To the average voter, these sounded like slogans. To the select few in the know, they were signals. Chapter 9. Biden's Suspicions. President Joe Biden rubbed his eyes as he signed yet another relief bill. The wording in the budgets confused him. Why did orbital logistics need $14 billion? Why did satellite resilience appear in a pandemic bill? Late one night in the White House residence, he asked his chief of staff.
Ron, what the hell is Project Aegis? It keeps showing up in the budget.
Ron shifted uncomfortably.
Mr. President, that's classified. Even above your clearance, you don't need to worry about it.
Above my clearance? I'm the President of the United States.
But when he pressed further, every answer was the same, need to know, and apparently he didn't. Chapter 10. The First Visitor, 2024. Somewhere beyond Neptune, the Kepler outpost, a classified deep space telescope, detected an object slowing down. Not a comet, not a rock, a craft. Dr. Lila Navarro, astrophysicist on station, recorded the first image, a vast triangular silhouette against the stars, cloaked in darkness. Her report never reached the public, instead it went directly into the Atlas dossier. Observation 1, alien probe confirmed. Observation 2, trajectory Earth. Observation 3, arrival window 5 years.
They're not coming to say hello, they're scouting.
Chapter 11. Trump returns. On the campaign trail, Trump's rallies grew larger, more feverish. The media mocked him for his obsession with Space Force, but behind closed doors, generals saluted. At a rally in Texas, he leaned into the microphone.
They laughed when I said Space Force. They won't be laughing soon.
The crowd cheered, thinking it was just Trump being Trump. But in the Pentagon bunker known as the Forge, analysts looked at each other nervously. He was hinting at the truth in plain sight. Chapter 12. The Atlas probe. The probe slipped into Earth's orbit undetected by civilians. Space Force tracked it from Cheyenne Mountain. General Whitaker, commander of Space Force, stared at the grainy feed.
Looks like a satellite, but it's not ours. No transponder, no emissions.
Then the object flared with light and released hundreds of smaller drones, metallic insects dispersing silently into the upper atmosphere.
They're mapping us.
Orders went out. Do not engage. Humanity wasn't ready, not yet. Chapter 13. Biden learns the truth. One evening, Biden stumbled upon an old folder in the Oval Office safe, Atlas Protocols. He flipped it open and froze. Alien fleet, countdown clock, the eclipse. His hands shook as he whispered,
My God, they knew, they all knew.
When he demanded answers from military advisors, they stonewalled. The decision had already been made. Biden was never meant to carry the Atlas burden. He was only the placeholder. Chapter 14. The Handoff. Election night, 2024. Trump stood at Mar-a-Lago watching the results roll in. Victory. In a hidden chamber beneath NORAD, the eclipse clock reset. 4 years, 0 months, 0 days. Biden sat silently in the residence, still shaken by what he'd read. He realized the truth. History would not remember his term. He was just the intermission. Chapter 15. The First Battle, 2026. The Atlas drones activated. They began disrupting satellites, blinding GPS, shutting down communication grids. Space Force launched Project Aegis, orbital lasers disguised as weather satellites. The first shot lanced across space, vaporizing an Atlas drone. General Whitaker reported to the president.
Sir, we're officially at war. They know we're resisting.
Trump slammed his fist on the desk.
Good. Now we show them what America can do.
Chapter 16. Humanity's Last Gamble. By 2028, the eclipse clock ticked down to 0. The Atlas fleet, massive, city-sized ships, entered the solar system. Earth was divided, governments bickering, but the truth united them. Survival. Trump stood before the United Nations, his voice carrying more gravity than ever before.
This isn't about America first anymore. This is about Earth first, and Earth will fight back.
Behind him, Space Force unveiled its secret weapons. Aegis platforms in orbit. Prometheus interceptors ready for launch. The Atlas Accord, a treaty signed by nations of Earth to fight as one. Epilogue. The eclipse begins. The skies over Earth shimmered as the Atlas fleet entered orbit. Millions watched in horror. Billions prayed. In the command center, Trump stared at the screens. His second term wasn't about politics. It wasn't about legacy. It was about survival. He whispered almost to himself,
This is why I came back.
The eclipse clock hit 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds, and the first battle for Earth began.